Hello everybody out there from Boots. This is our September 2nd, beginning of September, fish room update. We're going to start where we always do, over on the right side. Nothing has changed with Dahlia's tank. She's still doing really good. She seems much more personable now that she's gotten acclimated to being in the 75. I really don't have much to talk about with this one. There's a little bit of stagnant water on the top because we have just the title on there. We want to add some bubbles or something to it to break up that water, add a little oxygen. And we definitely want to do something that's not going to bother her, but to escape it a little more. But she's doing good, growing good. A little bit of a mess back there. All right, the tank below that, another 75. On the sponge filters, we're still cycling this one. I'm gonna test this as soon as I'm done recording to see if it's done cycling. We use bottled bacteria and some rosy reds. And it's been at least a couple weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple weeks. Don't know what we're gonna do with this one yet. Cruising over to the 75 saltwater. This is the Red Knob Sea Star that we got. And honestly, I'm just now noticing this, but it looks like something took a chunk out of him. And I have no clue what could have done that, because the only thing in here is a cardinal, a clownfish, and a cleanup crew. So that's interesting. Maybe. I don't know. There's the cardinal. He seems to be doing real good. It's very interesting. Gonna have to look that up. I know this thing looks like a nightmare. I just did water changes on all of these, but I haven't cleaned any of the glass yet. I'm not gonna go into detail talking about this because we're gonna talk a lot about the other saltwater tank. And as soon as I tell you where we're at with that one, I'll tell you my plans for this one. So, cruising down to the bottom. Boots, don't do it. Okay, he did it. Everything's going good down here with the Severums, the Angel. This is the one we moved the hob over. The cat, the animals just want to get in the way tonight. This is the one we moved the hob over for Dahlia's tank and just have it running on sponge filters now. We put some duckweed in there because I noticed it was getting a lot of algae. I figured the duckweed might tone down the lights a little bit. But the fish are all doing great. The Angel's doing good. The Severums are doing good. There's the green one over here. And oh, there goes tire track eel. Tire track eels have been coming out a lot more lately, and they're crazy for krill shrimp. There he goes up the wall. There's the zigzag and the other two Severums. And there's still the fish I've had longer than any other fish, striped Raphael cat in there that literally doesn't move, doesn't seem to go to the bathroom, eat. He does literally nothing. I do not know how he lives. I don't get it. I don't know. It's like immortal. Yeah, everything's going really good in here, but Shelby wants to rescape it soon. We don't know exactly what we're going to do, but the tire track eels seem to be growing really good. That's awesome. Coming out more. They're eating a lot. I literally witnessed them stealing a krill shrimp out of a Severum's mouth the other day, and then they were fighting over it and ripped it in half. There's the other tire track back there in the corner. They're like hanging out around the sponge filters. Yeah, so that's everything going on over here. Let's cruise over to the other side of the fish room. Goldfish tank, again, nothing new. I know, forgive me for the little bit of algae if you see it. I assure you, the water perimeters are great on everything. I just didn't have the energy to scrub after I did all the water changes. All these guys are growing real good. I enjoy watching these guys. I don't know. There's part of me sometimes feels like I might regret using the whole 240 up for goldfish, but then when I see them, they're a lot of fun. And I think when they get bigger, it's going to be a lot cooler. So, and they seem to be growing pretty darn fast. Here, let's feed them some food. Yeah, they eat real good. That black one, he's so derpy, we named him Derp. You drop the food, he'll literally turn around and bite at the water behind it. That Shubumpkin's probably one of my favorites. His fins are getting so long. Alright, cruising right along. The grow out tank. Silver arowana, he's still a little skittish. He's doing much better since I followed Tabardak's advice. I put some construction paper underneath the light. Since there's no dim in it if it's on a timer, you can lower the brightness, but then when the timer clicks over, it goes back to its default settings, which is kind of dumb design, but besides that, I like those lights. It's the Hygger planted light. I do think it's silly you can't set the brightness and the memory doesn't save it. Kelberries are doing good. There's still 3 Kelberries in here. They're doing good. They don't seem to be growing nearly as fast as the arowana, but everyone's doing good, growing out. I think we'll be able to move the arowana over much sooner than the Kelberries. Those 2 boxes back there, I put some sweet potatoes in, tried to grow them like we were doing in the planted tank. Didn't work nearly as good as the planted tank. I don't know if it's because we got the ferts and the CO2 in there and this doesn't have any of that stuff. Yeah, it just didn't work as good. So you see I got rid of the bubble strips. I put just a stone in there. I turned it down really low so it didn't disturb them, and dimmed the lights. And as you can see, he still hides. I mean, there's a peacock bass down there. They're very timid. Yeah, everything's doing really good in here. All right, cruising right along to the saltwater tank. I'm gonna set up here and hold it here for a minute because I want to talk about this one. I don't know how many people on the channel that watch are saltwater fans. We're very new to it, but I've been working on this tank a lot and trying to learn a lot. So, our pulsing Xenia used to pulse like crazy. We didn't have any of this red stuff, any of this green stuff in here, and now we do. I got on the Reef to Reef forum, started doing some research, learned a little more. I found out the reddish kind of stuff that was all over the coral, it's all over the back wall there. It was called dinoflagellates, which is, I don't think bacteria, it's a kind of, I think phytoplankton. Anyhow, it's bad stuff. It covers stuff, it's no good. And there was also cyanobacteria in there. It's still in there, it's on the back wall. It looks a lot better. So I took the water perimeters, and I always thought, just like a freshwater guy, nitrate 0, everything's good. I guess that's not how it goes with saltwater tanks. My nitrates were reading 0. Ammonia and nitrites were also 0, of course. My phosphates were 0, which I thought was good. And apparently that's not so. You need to have some sort of phosphates in there. You need to have some nitrates, or your tank bottoms out. If it bottoms out, then I guess that dinoflagellate, cyanobacteria could become prevalent and outcompete things like corals and whatnot for those elements or minerals in the water. So, since I figured all this out, we've got some Brightwell chemicals. I stopped doing water changes, which I was doing, because we wanted to raise the nitrates, raise the phosphates. I got a Neophos, I think it's called, from Brightwell. Started dosing with that. Got Neo Nitro from Brightwell, started dosing with that at the same time to raise the phosphates and the nitrates. We got the phosphates up to like 0.02, got the nitrates up to like 20. So that was a good start. I blacked the tank out for 72 hours while we were doing that, and it made a big difference. All the dino on the corals was gone. I know it's not perfect still, but it's a lot better than it was. The calcium was low. It was like 340. So I got Neocalcion from Brightwell, started dosing with that. We got the calcium up to around 440, 460, I think, around there, which I'm pretty sure is where you want to be. The next thing I did is the alkalinity, or the carbonate hardness, was a little low. I don't remember the number. I'm just going off what it should be from, what I've read. And it was a little low, so we used some Seachem Reef Builder, because we already had it, and got the darn cat. Got the phosphates, got the alkalinity up. So the alkalinity is good now. Salinity needs to come up a little. We got the phosphates where we wanted them, nitrates where we wanted them. It still doesn't, look great though. I don't know if I manually need to remove that remnants off the back. The pulsing xenia is out. It doesn't have crud all over it now. And the green star polyp even is out way more than it was before. I'll get closer. Darn pets. But see, it's not really pulsing. And I didn't mention I also added another power head because the guys on Reef to Reef said the flow was too low, or it was considered low flow. So it might not look like it, but everything's doing a lot better, but it's still not great. Like I said, the pulsing xenia, that's better than it was ever doing. But this, see, it's flowing, but I think that's just with the power head. It's not pulsing like it once was. If you look at my old shorts, you could see it really used to pulse and look awesome. But, the water perimeters are where they should be, so I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I read about this product called Fuel. It's supposed to be like minerals or whatever corals need from the water, and I read from some people that their pulsing xenia stopped pulsing. They added some fuel and it started pulsing like crazy, so I might actually buy some of that tonight, research it a little. But this is a work in progress. I'm going to check the perimeters tonight because I haven't checked it in a few days. Been busy, so I haven't updated my thread on Reef to Reef. The reason I didn't talk about the other 75 much is because now that I know what I've learned about saltwater, I'm going to check the perimeters for that tank and start doing the same thing. The good news there is I don't even know if we're going to do corals over there now that we got those sea stars over there. We might just go fowler with that, do all the live rock that's already in there. It'll be great for colonizing bacteria, and just do straight fish and live rock, and that might be what we do over there. At least that would enable us to have stuff that we couldn't normally have that's not reef safe, So our original plan was to put corals all over that rock, but that might have changed. So enough about saltwater. Let's move on over to our planted tank. So I recently did some research on this grass plant. Watched a bunch of videos from the guy over at Aquarium Co-op, I guess for short. This stuff is called Val. I don't remember the full name. Jungle Val. Learned a lot about it. Saw some cool tanks with it set up. Yeah. The duckweed and the Val still doing good in this tank. This crypt, I put some root tabs in next to it, and it still doesn't seem to be doing very good. But as you can see, it's just the duckweed and the Val is just going crazy. So, the sweet potatoes that I showed in the last video also went totally bonkers. Wait till you see these things. So, back of the tank. Yeah. Now, as I thought might happen, I know this looks pretty cool. Let me try to get back. The sweet potatoes did start to get soft and kind of rot. So I removed them. I don't know what's gonna happen to the vines. Some of those vines had roots showing. Maybe I can get it on the camera. Yeah, see those roots? Some of them had roots. Some of them didn't. I cut them all off the potato, removed the potatoes because I didn't want that rotting in the water. And I stuck all of them in the baskets, the vines. You can see there's some die off right here. But also a lot of it doesn't look like it's dying off. So I'm hoping some of them will catch, those roots will grow and these vines can continue because I think they look awesome. That's where we're at now. Potatoes removed, vines are in there, hoping they grow roots. This guy is literally a clove of garlic that I stuck in there that's doing really good. That was honestly just an experiment. All the rest of those are little clippings from pothos on the back porch, and they're actually doing really good. It's hard to see them through the duckweed. The roots are back there, but yeah, they're doing really good. So I'm looking forward to those like growing. So yeah, that's where we're at with the planted tank. Need to make more CO2 soon. And I moved this thing up so we could see it better, change the chem, and I think I need to crank the CO2 because I think from what that color shows, the CO2 is low. And what we always end with, the big tank. Everyone's doing good in here. It's a little murky. I did a water change earlier again, didn't clean the outside. But the Tiger Silver Dollars are doing great in there. I think they're growing more. BV's doing really good. Second oldest fish. Come on, boy. He's getting pretty big too. He might be done growing, I don't know. He ain't little. He's not doing a very good job of showing a hand size comparison though. Maybe next time. Socks is getting really big. These PVC they seem to love. They've been moving these things all over the place, slicking the PVC. I'm gonna get 2 more of these at least. Just throw them in there. I really don't like the way they look with the kind of gray. So the 2 that I get, I'm gonna use Krylon Fusion to make them black, all black, so they match the center chamber. And then take those 2 out, let them dry, and make those black. So at least if I have like 4 of them cruising around, they love just pushing them around where they want. I think they'll look better black. There's Binks. Socks just kicked up an entire... Cosmo, he's growing really slow. And then the Vishirs are cruising around here somewhere. There's Lemmy. Our Delhaize. He's getting pretty big. At least they'll stay still so we can get a hand size comparison. And even bigger than Lemmy, here's Frank. Our Delhaize. Or excuse me, he's not a Delhaize. He's a Delhaize. What kind of Vishir is Frank, babe? I forgot already.
Frank is not the Endlecheri.
Yep. No, that's right. He's an Endlecheri. Thank you. Because Lemmy's a Delhaize. And Frank's an Endlecheri. And Stanley, who's right there, is a Lapridae. You love your PVC, don't you? Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. I'm so glad I just got that on video. We know who the culprit is pushing around the PVC. Oh, what a punk. And that's everything we got going on, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Any questions, comments, I'd love to hear them. I'll always respond to everyone. And until mid-month, I hope everyone has a great next couple of weeks.